All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Listen Up Santa Paula. It is yours truly, James Lantime, with the handsome John Marquez.
What show number is
Why
this?
did you say yes?
I agree.
You do? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
We are show number 137.
Nice.
And I was all prepared to talk about a special project because I wasn't sure if our chief was kind enough to set the schedule up, but he got you here, and she's smiling about it. So that's cool.
Yes.
So we will be right back right after this.
Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
There's so much going on in your community that even in this age of information, it's tough to keep up. This show will help. It's all about what's new, what's happening, and what's out there. So if you're ready, sit back and listen up, Santa Paula.
Okay, we are back.
Yes.
And we have a very special guest, but I told her she's not allowed to talk until she hears her special intro.
Yeah. Well,
I went through a lot of trouble to create this thing.
I know,
So
I know.
I got to use it.
exactly.
And so, are you ready?
Yeah. Very excited.
Oh, nope.
Very
Can't talk
excited.
yet, though.
Okay.
You just smile. That's good.
There you go.
All right, here we go. We are going to be talking with Kate Watkins about emergency preparedness.
911, what's your emergency?
Did you stay up all night to do that?
I did. It runs about 10 minutes. But
Let go.
I did the shorter version.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you. That was a great introduction.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So, how you doing, Kate?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good. So, this is actually a brand new position for Santa Paula, right?
Yes, it is.
This has never been in place before.
No, it has not. This is a new initiative, and it's been quite fun being the first in this position. And I've really been able to attack the position full on and decide what needs to be done, looking at our city, what's been done in the past, and how we can improve to make sure that the city employees are prepared. And then also working outreach in the community to make sure our community is prepared for any type of emergency.
Yeah, and so what's nice is it really gives you kind of this blank slate to really be
She's writing the
creative
book on how to do this.
Writing a book,
Yeah.
building
Yep.
a foundation.
Exactly.
That's really
So-
what it's been so far.
So, what is your background?
Background's a bit all over. I've been with the PD over 6 years. So my first position with the police department was the community service officer.
Okay.
And so I was able to do that. While I was doing that, there was an opening and a need in the evidence room. And so they asked me to fill that in temporarily. And so I was in property and evidence and managed that for a while. I've also worked as the public information officer for the police department. I've helped with community outreach, community relations. I assisted with emergency services before the position was created. And so
Nice.
I've done a bit of everything with the police department.
The evidence room must have been kind of cool.
Yeah. She
I can
probably-
just imagine what you must have in there.
Oh yeah, I would always have a new story every day coming home, and there was never a dull moment in the evidence room. I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
Wow.
Even in a small town, huh? There's
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of interesting things that go on.
A lot of
Yeah.
interesting things.
Yeah.
Every day is different. You never quite know what you're going to discover and what the guys will bring in.
Mhm.
Nice. So, you've been with PD for 6 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how long has this position been inactive, or in what's the word I'm looking for?
Built, maybe.
Yeah,
It was-
created.
Created new role. Created. Yeah.
It was created and they went through a process, but I was hired at the end of February in 2023.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So it's been a little over a year,
Yeah.
and out of all the positions that you held, would you say this is one of your favorite ones?
I would. It's been fun to tackle this project head on. Just learning about it, learning from other cities what they're doing in their emergency services, and finding out what works. We have a unique town, and
Mhm.
that's part of the fun is going what works best for
Yeah.
us, because you have to look at where we're situated. What weather will we deal with? We're not dealing, say, with tornadoes, hurricanes that other cities are. We have very specific things in Santa Paula, and then we have our unique population. So it's preparing and really identifying what makes Santa Paula and how to best work with that.
Yeah, you find out because we're one of the smaller communities
Mhm.
in the county, and a lot of things what the bigger cities do doesn't fit with us.
Exactly.
And we find that with the chamber too. It's like a lot of our larger chambers do things that are great. They're all great,
Mhm.
but we can't do some of those things because it doesn't fit with our makeup. And I
Exactly.
think you see where even our police department, you see it's a lot different how you
Mhm.
compare it to other areas and other departments, correct? So a little more
Right.
personable,
Yes.
a little better understanding of the community,
Mhm.
a lot of interaction right now.
A ton of interaction, and that's been amazing. One of our last events was a humongous success, and that was Sound the Alarm. And we
Mhm.
worked with Rancho Santa Paula Mobile Home Parks,
Mhm.
Anacapa Mobile Home Parks, the 400 estates, and then the neighborhoods in between those houses.
Mhm.
And the just response from the community was absolutely astounding.
Mhm.
Rancho Santa Paula graciously hosted us, and so we had American Red Cross come in, we had Ventura County Fire come in, and we were able to install fire alarms for free in
Yeah.
these houses. And people let us in. We were able to give them educational
Mhm.
material about how they can better prepare for, say, a wildfire or anything, and what resources are available to them.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing event where I believe we installed 299
Yeah, I remember you saying
alarms.
almost 300. Yeah,
Almost 300.
Yeah.
It was extremely
Yeah.
high, and it was such
So
a
you
success.
actually installed these in people's homes?
Yes, we did.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a
Mhm.
program
And
that
that
goes
was-
on in other areas too. And so yeah, it's great to see that happen.
Mhm.
So
And that was for free to the
For free,
residents?
yes.
That's all.
American Red Cross is their program, and they partner with the cities, and so they bring in the
Wow.
local PD or emergency services and the fire department.
Yeah.
And so they have done this in
Yeah.
Oxnard and other cities in our county, and they reached
Yeah.
out and said, "We want to hit Santa Paula." So we
Nice.
said, "Okay, we've got the area. Let's do this."
And they've tried it over the years in a smaller scale. So it's good that they're able to ramp up services with you guys too.
Yes.
So I have a question. So when you go into these homes, besides installing it, what do you learn as a department
Mhm.
when you start talking to these people and meeting these neighborhoods and stuff? Is there anything specific you guys are looking for too when it comes to emergency services?
Looking about their interest, I mean, one of the biggest things that we've discovered is, I don't know if you know this, but you type into Google Santa Paula Police Department, it doesn't show our correct phone number.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've made a priority is, do you guys have the phone numbers? Do you know
Mhm.
that your important things? And so we've created something simple, a
Mhm.
contact list,
Yeah.
English on one side, Spanish on the other. And it just has the main numbers you might need in Santa Paula.
Mhm.
It for Athens services, whether there's a street light out, traffic light out,
Mhm.
if the fire extinguisher it is leaking, any of those things,
Yeah.
railroad signals down. I mean, all those things, there's a phone number out there, and we want people to know. And so we sent this in the water bill, but I found not everyone kept it, read it, looked
Yeah.
at it. And so handing it out at events, that has been huge.
Yeah.
And people have been so appreciative of, oh, thank you so much. I now know who to call.
Mhm.
And so just little things like this of how to get the information in people's hands, and through something like Sound the Alarm, where we're offering a free service, people are much more excited to have a conversation and learn about it. Because while this is on our website and things like that, not everyone uses that. As you were saying, what's unique about Santa Paula? You have to learn.
Mhm.
And I think these one-on-one interactions go much better, and we can share these resources and provide them with trusted sources.
Yeah, we've talked about that with other projects. We're currently working on a project with the downtown right now. And while we still send it through email and stuff,
Mhm.
we're actually, my team is out there today, in fact, doing some personal touches and
Mhm.
talking to them about doing a survey, handing out some city information. And because a lot of them don't look at that stuff. But if you sit there and have a conversation, hand it to them, it means so much more. You get better connected with the community.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And that's the goal with
Yeah.
emergency preparedness. I mean, there's stuff we can do as the city,
Mhm.
as a police department, as a city staff. However, it's going to come down to the individuals in our community. So by everyone seeing what they can do and doing their part, we will be
Mhm.
better off in an emergency as a whole.
It's amazing how many people are unplugged in this community.
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the demographics of our community.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them don't have access to internet and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
having that personal touch, and we have a lot of organizations within the community that help and assist with the
Yes.
police department as far as doing outreach,
Mhm.
like the churches and groups like Poder Popular and all that stuff that can help assist in getting that word out about the police department and other services too.
Mhm.
So who has your Google account? Does anybody know?
No, I have contacted Google multiple times, and we've had other people.
Yeah, because all of those profiles are managed by an individual.
Yes, it
Mm.
doesn't say that it is, so I have looked into it.
Okay.
But
So it's amazing that Google doesn't give somebody connectivity to the profile within the department. So
yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but I've noticed a problem, and we've been able to kind of alleviate that and make sure that all those informations, the contact list, it's on our website, it's on all of our social media accounts,
Yeah.
and it's something that we try and advertise every time we put out a post or thing, so that people know how to get a hold of us.
well, you know what? I will take the initiative, and I will get that number changed for you.
Why,
Yeah.
thank you.
You got a few connections in the city, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with
Pretty good.
Google.
Google, yeah. Yeah.
So
So, and I appreciate everything you do. And tell us a little bit about what you're doing as far as in your role. I mean, I know we're on that Citizens Core group
Yeah.
together. So, and that has been an organization that's been going on for many, many years,
Mhm.
successful. It's had its ups and downs, but you kind of took on this role now
Mhm.
to do that. Can you talk a little bit about what it is and what you're trying to accomplish?
Yes, Citizens Core is a wonderful group of individuals, local businesses, local outreaches that want to meet together and learn about emergency preparedness and what they can do. And Steve Lazenby, who recently was honored at one of our city council meetings, he's the one who initiated Citizens Core in our town and has really pushed for emergency preparedness for Santa Paula and has
Mhm.
done an amazing job in doing that, whether it was as a private citizen or when he was working for the fire department.
Mhm.
And he has graciously handed over the reins for me to really push it forward. And so the goal with the program is to be able to see what people are doing, to provide them with resources so that they can better prepare. Because as we're talking about specifically with Santa Paula, there's only so much I can do from my platform.
Mhm.
But when you bring in the local churches and you have them reach out to their community, we are going to reach the population of Santa
Yeah.
Paula.
Mhm.
And that's the goal of
Yeah.
utilizing Citizens Core, is to bring in the churches, to bring in those local organizations so they can take information and share what they're doing, their outreach, and really get that information to the public.
Yeah, and it's good to see like the Red Cross and other agencies in the county and the school district there all talking, because some of these agencies, while they'll help, they don't understand the community.
Mhm.
Providing a platform where they can start understanding the community better is going to help when there is going to be an emergency.
Exactly.
So it makes your life a lot easier too, as far as developing the resources. So, I mean, because we're handling kind of the business aspect of it, and we're going to start ramping that up too. But it's good to see where, we can help wherever we can, but having those other resources is actually really good for our community. So there's probably how many, I saw your invite. I was like, wow, there's a lot of people here.
Yes.
So,
There's about 30, but we're looking for
Yeah.
more. So if you are a local business, you have a local organization, we really would love for you to reach out to me and I'll give you an invite, and we'd love to have you a part of Citizen Core.
I feel like I'm on a tennis match.
no, it's good.
This
See,
is the first interview that you're like doing all the talking.
I'm surprised you're not jumping in.
I
Yeah,
can. I like it's.
Well, me and Kate have been working on some stuff, so it's good. We don't really get a lot of time to talk,
We
so
don't.
it's good.
I just-
Yeah, okay. You want to just sit from an angle and just
I
watch
know,
us, so
I
you don't
know.
have to turn your head?
Let me
So,
I'll just go to the computer.
there you go. There you go.
Control it.
But go ahead. You ask a question. Go ahead.
No, I forgot. No. So what are the specific threats to Santa Paula? I know we have the flood because we had that memorial for the police or whatever that went on their
From
motorbikes.
the same.
Yes, that is not quite a flood, but that was the dam relief,
Okay.
St.
So-
Francis Dam.
St. Francis Dam. And
Is that still a concern?
yes, it is.
Okay.
So we're downstream from a few different dams, and
Mhm.
there's a few that if say one breaks, then the other will most likely break.
Mhm.
And so we are in that pattern. So a dam failure is definitely a concern and something that we need to look at. There are maps out there where you could really see and visualize if, say, one dam breaks or multiple dam breaks, what the impact would be to Santa Paula, how much time we would have, and where the water would be, how deep it would be. And so, for example, if a dam were to break, you want to move to higher ground. You want to be above, let's see, above Main Street.
Yeah.
And just keep moving up the mountain and looking at some of those spots to go to.
Roughly about how much time would people have to react? Like
It-
with the St. Francis Dam when that broke, how much time did people in Santa Paula have to?
It depends on the extent of the damage. And again, if it causes more damage downstream for another dam to break. So
Okay.
it could be a few hours.
Oh,
And
okay.
that'll just depend.
Yeah. So it's not like if it breaks, it's instantly flooding Santa
We
Paula.
are a few miles away.
Okay.
So we have a little bit more time than
Okay.
the places close to the
Closer
dam.
to it. Yeah.
But you
And-
still have to have a plan in place.
Yeah, oh,
Because
yeah,
even
yeah.
those 2 hours or however many hours, it goes
To move
quick.
a population.
Everybody out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And-
as we've seen, wildfires are another big concern.
Right.
And
Right. Because we just had the fire over on South Mountain.
Mhm.
Have we ever seen a fire that's jumped the freeway?
I'm
in
not
Santa Paula?
sure. I would
I
have to
don't
refer to
remember.
the
Yeah.
defer to the fire department, but I know in the last several years when we've had a fire on the South Mountain, it has not jumped the riverbed.
No.
Okay. So it stayed on that
It
side
has
of it.
stayed on
Yeah.
that side, yes.
Okay.
I think the closest fire to get more into the community was the Thomas fire.
Yes.
That was
And that was on the other.
I was
mountain.
on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, usually that break is the riverbed.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's doesn't mean it won't happen. And then you
Yeah.
have the riverbed and the freeway.
Mhm.
So
Right.
there's a couple breaks there. Like
So on that side, we're a little bit more protected than on the other side.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and then obviously earthquakes.
Earthquakes, yes. And another consideration is flooding, as you mentioned. In 2023 and 2024, we saw all the storms, and we had a lot of flooding through town, which caused damage to roads. And
That's right. We had a
different
sinkhole
things.
and
Yes, we did.
yeah,
We had two.
two.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of our infrastructure is not made to handle that rain.
Yeah.
That nowhere around here, I think, is made to handle that
No,
kind of
you
rain.
saw damage. I mean, we had presidential, I think, declarations on that just because of
Mhm.
the amount of damage that California had.
Wow.
It was a lot.
Mhm.
And so are those the 3 or 4 primary?
I would say those are
Thanks.
the main ones, and it's something that you go through seasonally that we expect.
Yeah.
And then you have the unexpected
Right.
Yeah.
emergencies.
It seems like fire season's all year now, though, the way it is.
Mhm.
I mean, who would think the winds right now? We normally get the
Yes.
winds in the fall. We don't usually get them during the winter like
Mhm.
this, so
That's right. Because it's normally in like
September, October,
and
maybe
yeah.
November at the most. But yeah, this is, I don't remember a year where it's been like this in a long time.
It's
Yeah.
been very unique. I
Yeah.
think it's something I've noticed just being in this position. I feel like we've seen the storms get a bit worse, a bit more.
Yeah.
So it's been a unique season.
So one of the issues in LA was that they didn't have sufficient water reserves, and so they ran out of water in the hydrants. How is Santa Paula with regards to that? Are we pretty covered as far as water is concerned, or is that a concern for
can't
us?
speak on specifics, but we have a great water department and they have different protocols. So, for example, whenever we're going into potential power safety shutoffs, if we're going into a fire high wind event, I contact our water department. They have protocol for PSPS,
Mhm.
high winds, and
Yeah.
fire weather, and they
Okay.
immediately activate it. And so some of those things that they do is they test their generators to make sure
Mhm.
those work in case there's a power failure. They fill up the tanks so that we have full reserves going into an incident just in case the tanks were to be
Right.
shut off and then they'd have to go to the reserves. So they prepare for this. And this is something that we do every incident.
Mhm.
So some of these other cities should take note of how well prepared we are.
Yeah. Well, it's a
So-
little different because we have well water,
Mhm.
where other ones are relying on water from outside of,
Right.
of the area. So it's a lot different process, more controllable, I think, on a city level.
Yes.
We're
And
not so
every
dependent.
city is different.
Yeah, exactly.
With what their infrastructure
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, and in the Palisades, they actually showed one of their water reserve tanks totally empty from before the fires.
Yeah.
And they were like, that should have been filled up as soon as they had the high winds. It's like, there should have been water in there, and there wasn't. So it's really sad.
Mm.
And now with let's say there is an emergency. What how are people going to typically get informed of, okay, the dam broke, you got to go to higher places,
Ground,
high
yes.
grounds, yeah, or we have an earthquake. What kind of things do people do in order to get the information, or especially those that aren't connected?
Yes. So there's a few different things. Of course, the primary thing is to be connected.
Yes.
And so for our city, we are a part of Ventura County, and we work with Ventura County for VC Alert. So VC Alert is the emergency notification system. And this is something I recommend for everyone to have. It's in English and Spanish. It's very easy. You can sign up by calling them, by going online, or by submitting an email. There's also an app if you would like to go that route. But this is a way for you to sign up for alerts for something like an earthquake, a road closure, a wildfire, an evacuation, things like that, so you can stay informed. This is not something where it's just telling you about the weather today. It's very specific. There's protocol that they follow of when they send the alerts, what type of alerts. So this is just for emergency alert, and it's one of the best ways to get information in our city.
And everybody, even those who are not connected, probably have a cell phone.
Yes.
So
And so if you have a cell phone, then you can get VC alert sent to your phone, and that is the best way to get an emergency alert. The second way would be the city's website. Our city's website, this is something that we will have to update. So there might be, say, a few minute delay from your VC alert. But if you go to www.spcity.org, that's where you'll find, if there's ever an emergency, there will be a banner, and it will say, for example, mountain fire. That's what we did when the mountain fire came through. So you could see the banner, mountain fire, you clicked that, and then it showed you links, and it showed you different information about the incident. Our city website also will show you our city Facebook page. So while our city website is our primary resource for any emergency information going on in Santa Paula, we will try and keep our social media updated. I know many people prefer that. So things like our Facebook or our next door channels, even our Neighbors by Ring, will be updated when we have time to give you guys that information.
Yeah, and I know the city website was just redone.
It was.
And it was great to see the police department actually has a big presence on there.
Yeah.
That was always a challenge before. It's like, where's the police department? People were always saying they couldn't find it. So it's good to see that on there. There's a lot of great information on there.
I'm glad it's a bit easier to find.
Yeah. So what happens if, especially in our senior community, if they're not on social media? I know they all have phones and stuff, but what do they do in an emergency? What's another avenue for them to all stay connected?
So there's a few different things. One of them is if they're in support of our senior center. Our senior center does an excellent job with reaching out to the senior community and giving them information. And if they, for example, if our Parks and Rec team knows that these people do not have access to some of these resources, like a website or things, we can take note of that. And our team can look at contacting them. Also, if they say, for example, live in a senior home, having that individual who runs the home be a part of our citizens course so that they know how to receive emergency alerts and how to share that with their community. Because there's only so much electronics can do, technology, and so we need to rely on people, specifically in Santa Paula. And so having all those organizations be proactive and sign up for alerts or be a part of our citizens court. There's a variety of different ways for people to get information. And if more people take that initiative, we will be able to reach those individuals who, for example, may not have a cell phone or things like that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
So for seniors that, let's say the seniors still live at home, but they're not very mobile, and they might have assistance that comes in just to kind of help them out. Is there some place for those seniors to be able to register with the police or the fire department so that if there is an emergency, that you or the fire department know to contact or to to do a check or to go out there to assist that senior?
So to my knowledge, this is a very big and controversial ask because there is a concern, of course, about people's privacy and not wanting to share things. And so different cities have done it in different ways. And they're very cautious, though, on how to proceed to, again, respect people's privacy. The state of California has looked into this through Cal OES and the Access and Functional Needs group. And so they have worked on creating a database. Southern California Edison has also said if you are reliant on any type of medical gear, for example, that you can register with Southern California Edison. So when they send out reports, I get a notification of, say, there's 10 people in Santa Paula in this specific area who might have their power shut off, who are dependent on the power. So things like that, there are different ways people can register. I would have to look through specifically Ventura County to give you what resources in the county for people who are interested in registering.
So what would you do in the case of the power outage and they have equipment? So you get that list from 10 people. What would you do once you get that notification? Do you actually reach out to those 10 people?
So I do not get their specific information. So when they register with SCE, it's on SCE to try and get them power or to send them, for example, they will send out battery packs, things like that to these people.
So so you're just giving a general idea that there's some people there that, but they know specifically where they are and they do reach out to them to make sure that their equipment doesn't go down.
It's kind of like you're building a network, like one of the senior areas. It would be like kind of like a neighborhood watch. There would be somebody that would have not personal data, but say, hey, we have 3 people that need assistance with that, but they would have just some general information for you.
Yes.
And you would work maybe with that one person to do that.
Yes. And in an emergency, we're really going to rely on those relationships. So in Blue Sky Days, encourage people to get out to know their neighbors, to look at doing a neighborhood watch in their neighborhood. Organizations like that, or going to CERT, community emergency response training together. Doing things like that where you can create a plan for your own family, look at helping your neighbors to better prepare the community. Because if you know that, say, you have some sort of medical disability, then you need to have a plan of who can assist you, who are your backup people, or who knows to come check, make sure that you were able to get out, and to plan in advance. So say, for example, with a fire, if you know it'll take you a little while, go in advance. Do not wait for the evacuation order where the fire is around your neighborhood. We saw that in Palisades. And so these are some of the lessons we can learn of how do we make sure everyone has that education to make the plan for themselves.
Yeah, and everybody needs to understand if there's an emergency, say an earthquake, there's only so many officers and fire department people that can get around. They're going to go to the highest priority stuff, but there might be others that just need a little bit of assistance. And that's where working together with your neighbors and stuff would come in handy because, especially when there is an emergency, they all flock to the police and fire department. And if they're not as responsive, then that's where they think there's a problem. But it's just capacity wise, you just can't get to everything.
Yeah. So if there's a natural disaster or anything like that, it's going to require the public to get involved, those who are able to get involved and to help out. And
plan on not having assistance, and that just because of the reality of it, but working with your neighbors and stuff, so, and that's the same thing in the business community. Downtown's a great example. They're all older buildings. If something was to happen, they all have talked about working together because, and they're all starting to get to know each other a lot, but you'd be amazed that some businesses just do not communicate with others and they just don't know each other and they've been there for years. And it's like, now we're trying to get them to have these conversations because especially in the business sector, a lot of them aren't going to have any assistance, with some of these older buildings. So the more help that we can get through CERT and neighborhood watches and stuff, I think that would be so much more helpful for the police department and fire department.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So we have a couple more minutes. Is there anything that you wanted to add that we have not covered, or do you think we covered all the bases?
We covered a whole lot, but I would love to say, I mentioned our website earlier. Please go to our website. There's an emergency services page, and on there you'll find resources. So if you don't have the contact list, please go download it.
Mhm.
If you're interested in just an overview of disaster preparedness, I have 2 books in English and Spanish, and they're both up there. And it just goes over general for how to prepare for a storm, a wildfire, and it gives you a few resources. There's also how to build an emergency supply kit. So if you have not thought through if you have to evacuate your home, you're not going to remember some of the basic essentials to get you through.
Dr. Pepper is the only
Dr.
thing
Pepper
that's the only thing that's on my
Dr.
list.
Pepper and the clothes on your back,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah,
all you
Dr.
need.
Pepper, clothes on my back, and Doritos.
and
And Doritos, there you go.
okay.
And
Uh-huh.
Doritos.
You got a
That's-
bag packed
that's
with all
my
that
flag-
already?
Yeah, that's my flag kit.
Yeah, someone else mentioned their spouse, their pet, prescriptions, photographs,
Wow.
those kind of things. Those are the
Yeah,
top few.
I
Pet,
suppose I
pet
should.
food. People don't
Pet food.
understand that they need to have something
Yes.
at the, you know,
I
you need to
suppose
have
I
a-
should consider those other things then, huh?
yeah.
Potentially prescriptions.
I'd be out the
cash.
door with my backpack and my Dr. Pepper, and Julie would be
Yeah.
like, "Hey,
Yeah. And that you brought that up about cash.
Mhm.
You need to have cash in an emergency situation. A lot of people don't carry cash now, but what happens when all the systems go down? You know, it's back to the old days. You know, you
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
have to trade cash. So
Mhm.
it would be a good thing for people to always have a little bit of cash to get them through as
Most
best they can,
definitely.
at least a few days before other services get back
Mhm.
up and running.
Yes.
You know, so
And have a plan for your family. I mean, for example, if you're here and your wife's home, does she know what to grab of yours that you need the Dorito
the
or
Doritos and
Yeah.
the Dr. Pepper."
Mhm.
Yeah,
he's got a big duffel bag
Yeah,
ready to go.
ready to go.
That stuff.
and it says emergency. kit on it.
Good for you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's the thing. You pack one for home so you can last without power for 3 to 5 days. You have one in your car of little things you might need. You have one at, say, your desk at work. You pack a few emergency kits with supplies to get you through just in case you're not home when something occurs.
I used to have a friend that was like totally OCD. I mean, to the nth degree. And in his truck, he always had a full kit of everything. He had water. He had non-perishable food. He had all the stuff that he kept in his truck. And so every time we'd have to go to move something, he'd be like, "Oh, well, I got to get all this stuff out." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a full
Yeah.
on week's worth of I'm
He's
cool.
prepared.
And they sell those kits. If you
They
don't know
do.
how to put one together, you can go to like a larger retailer. They sell the kits that'll get you through like a week supply.
Yeah.
So if that's a
Vaughn
better
sells it. They sell Dr. Pepper and Doritos.
you know, that would be great to build a preparedness kit with just those two
Yeah.
items.
Yes.
You
A
know,
junk food kit.
there you go. Well, you would need something like that for even kids and stuff like that because they're, you know, you're not gonna be able to make this. You might as well get things that they're gonna like too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you
Because-
want to keep it updated, especially
Exactly.
with kids, because every 6 months when they're growing out of their clothes and their
Yeah.
shoes, and you want to make sure your kit has your up-to-date
Mm-hmm.
bag of Doritos and not the expired bag. And
So is that a good recommendation for when you have a kit? How often you should check it?
yes, I would say at least yearly, if not every 6 months. And it depends on what supplies. If you're working with kids, I would say 6 months.
Mm.
If not, you can probably extend it. But I mean, you want to check your water, your food supplies, your batteries, make
Mhm.
sure that all those are prepared and ready to go.
Because even I don't think people realize even water has kind of an expiration
Mhm.
date to it too.
It does.
Yeah, it does. So I don't know if it's a recommended date or if it's when that date hits, it's no good anymore. But it would be good to rotate that out, like
Yes.
you said. So
Mhm.
and I don't think a lot of people do that.
Yes.
You know, so okay, so you got to drink your Dr. Pepper and replace that.
It
every
does.
6
Oh
months.
no, I know because Dr. Pepper does have an expiration on it.
Yeah.
and there is a taste difference. when
So does
it
usually about 6
expires.
months. Doritos
Yeah.
are about 3 months. So you got to check it
I
every
don't
3
mind
months
stale Doritos.
Oh,
Really?
interesting.
I don't. Yeah.
because you pour the Dr. Pepper on it, right?
Yeah.
So
And
it'll bubble
and
over.
mushy.
And
Mushy.
One way to eat them.
Yeah. So all this information they can get on the website.
Yes, it is.
And,
And whenever I am at an event, I bring this with me. So stop by a booth if you ever see me, and please pick stuff up if you have questions. If you're interested in CERT, please look at our website. We'll have classes coming up soon.
Mhm.
And again, please reach out if you're
Mhm.
interested in our Citizens Corps meetings. We'd love to have more local businesses and organizations who are looking to help prepare.
Yeah, we should build one downtown. neighborhood watch,
Mhm.
get one going there. So
Yes, that would
definitely
be
need to do that
wonderful.
with businesses. And I am a graduate of CERT. Steve
Congratulations.
Lazenby was my trainer. I have my kit still in my garage,
I
ready to
love
go.
it.
My
Have you updated your kit?
I actually checked it during the power outage
Uh-huh.
because it had a headlamp in it.
Yes.
So we went in there, we looked at it, it still worked.
Wonderful.
And because I took the batteries out and I had them in a little bag, and then I went through there and had the hard hat and the vest and all that. And my daughter has it too because she did the class with me.
Awesome.
And so I still have that right there. I see it every morning when I walk into the garage. I see it right there.
Good.
So I probably should keep it on my car, but at least it's there. So, but everybody knows, my wife knows where it is. So if something comes up, grab it and go, and you'll be fine. No Doritos in it, though, or
Okay.
Dr. Pepper.
That's all right.
So, yeah.
I carry my own. John, anything real quick that's coming up between now and next Wednesday?
Tomorrow we have our grand opening of the Collective Studio.
Okay.
That's downtown between Mill and Main. So Mill and 10th Street. So it's at 3:00. So come down if you want to get a
Ribbon cutting?
It's a ribbon cutting, grand opening ribbon cutting. Next month we have another grand opening of the Vet Tech Center at Ventura College. We have a mixer coming up in March. We're hoping to set up the Coffee with the Cops program. We're looking at doing that in February, so stay tuned for that. Kate and I are working on some new dates.
We have the roundtable next
The
Thursday.
business roundtable next Thursday
Okay.
at 9:00 at the Glen Tavern. That's on the 30th. All that information is on the chamber website on the calendar pages, and then at the city has all the information as well. And then
You can go to the Tourism Bureau
Heritage Valley Tourism.
for heritagevalleyca.org.
Mhm.
And for all our events and everything that's happening, you can go to thomagic.org.
Correct.
Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
All
So
good.
this was awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You did a wonderful job
Oh,
for
thank you.
being dragged in at the very last minute.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now we got to rank. We've had the chief, we've had the commander, and we've had her. So we got to rank them now.
I'm
Who's
going
like-
with Kate all the way.
Kate all the way. I know that.
You're kind.
Sorry, chief. Sorry, commander.
Yeah.
So yeah, you blew them all away. So
Well,
we're good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our goal is to get somebody from the police department on like every other month to talk
Okay.
about maybe crimes or
Yeah.
different things like that. So we'll get the chief on task and make sure we get that scheduled. But we
Wonderful.
appreciate you coming out.
Of course.
And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, this is episode number 137 is officially
Mhm.
in the can.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.